Why Earth's military might leave aliens speechless. They were a small group of soldiers, but they were strong, focused, and ready. John watched as Private Lisa Brown practiced aiming her rifle. She was young, but she had a calm mind and steady hands. John nodded to her, impressed by her precision. "Keep your focus," he said. "Your mind controls your body, not the other way around." Lisa smiled slightly and adjusted her grip. Around them, other soldiers moved with perfect coordination. Each step, each motion, each command was practiced and repeated many times. They were ready for anything. John did not know it, but far above, in the silent dark of space, alien eyes watched them. On a distant ship, shaped like a long silver needle, alien leaders observed Earth. Their skin was pale blue, their eyes large and shiny. One of them, a female called Vela, leaned over a holographic map of the solar system. "They are weak," she said. Her voice was soft but sharp. "Their weapons are primitive. Their technology is nothing compared to us." Another alien, a male named Krath, shook his head. "They are small, but they are unpredictable. I do not understand them. We cannot waste resources on minor threats, yet I feel..." Hesitation. Vela clicked her claws on the control panel. "Hesitation is weakness. Prepare the scouts. I want to see them more closely. I want to understand them. If they fail, it will be simple to erase them." Back on Earth, Lisa finished her practice and walked to John. "Captain, there's something strange on the sensors," she said. Her voice was serious. John frowned. "What do you mean?" "I've never seen these signals before. They are coming from deep space. I think someone is watching." John's heart beat faster. He was trained to stay calm, but something in Lisa's voice told him this was real. He looked up at the sky. The blue sky was peaceful, calm, and ordinary. Nothing in it suggested danger, but John knew better. "Alert command," he said. "Prepare for inspection. We need to be ready for anything." Hours passed, and the sky turned orange again as the sun set. Soldiers trained, scientists monitored instruments, and John walked among them, checking every detail. Humanity had always faced challenges, some small, some large, but nothing had prepared them for what was coming. Far away, the alien scouts moved closer. Their small ships were silent, nearly invisible. They observed human cities, military bases, and communication hubs. Everywhere they looked, humans were busy yet somehow coordinated. They expected chaos, but they saw order. They expected fear, but they saw calm. Vela watched the reports with growing frustration. "They are not afraid," she said. "Why are they not afraid?" Krath replied. "I do not know. Their behavior does not match their size or technology. It is strange, almost unnatural." Back on Earth, John and his soldiers continued their drills. They practiced evasive maneuvers, rapid response exercises, and emergency protocols. Private Mike Harris ran alongside John, panting but smiling. "Captain," Mike said, "you think this is all for nothing?" "Some alien invasion story?" John shook his head. "We train for what we must, not what we hope. If nothing happens, fine, but if something does, we will not be caught unprepared." Meanwhile, Lisa studied the signals. She traced them carefully, noting their patterns and frequency. She realized that the signals were not random. They were intelligent. Someone or something was observing Earth very carefully. She felt a chill run down her spine. The idea that they were being watched was terrifying, but it also made her feel alive, focused. As night fell, Earth's cities lit up with artificial light. In New York, Boston, Los Angeles, people walked unaware of the distant watchers. They lived their lives, thinking the universe was vast and mostly empty. On the alien ship, Vela and Krath disagreed over their next move. "We must strike first," Vela said. "Show them our power before they grow too bold." "No," Krath said. "We cannot underestimate them. They are strange. Their minds are different. Watch more before we act." Back on Earth, John gathered his officers. They held a meeting in a small, dimly lit room at the base. Maps were spread on the table, satellites and radars displayed in holograms. John pointed to the points of strange signals. "We don't know what these are," he said, "but they are coming from outside our solar system. We must be ready. Our goal is to defend, observe, and respond intelligently. No panic, no rash moves. Understand first, act second." His officers nodded. Captain Sarah Miller, a veteran of many operations, spoke next. "We can reinforce bases, train civilians, and prepare fleets. But we must remain calm. Panic is our enemy as much as them." The night passed slowly. Humans on the base rested, but machines and sensors worked without pause. John walked outside to watch the stars. The universe looked calm, beautiful, infinite. It was hard to believe that somewhere out there, eyes were watching, waiting, deciding. He took a deep breath. "We will be ready," he whispered to himself. "No matter what comes, we will not fail." Far in the darkness of space, the alien scouts returned their reports to Vela. She frowned. The humans had not panicked. They had coordinated. They had defended themselves against minor intrusions in a way that no other species had. "This cannot be right," Vela said. "They should be easy to manipulate, easy to scare." Instead, they adapt, they plan, they fight back. "I have never seen anything like this." Krath looked at her calm. "Perhaps we have underestimated them. Perhaps their strength is not in technology alone, but in their minds, their courage, their unity." Back on Earth, John and Lisa continued their preparations. They worked late into the night, checking weapons, communications, and defenses. They trained new recruits, shared tactics, and planned for every possible scenario. The base was alive with quiet energy. There was no fear, only focus, determination, and readiness. By morning, the alien scouts had left their immediate orbit. John and his team did not celebrate. They had no reason to believe danger was over. Instead, they continued training, continued preparing, and continued watching the skies. Humanity had faced threats before, some from other humans, some from nature. But this was different. This was something new, something unknown. And somewhere far away, Vela and Krath discussed humanity again. "They may be weak in appearance," Krath said, "but they are not simple. They are more dangerous than we imagined." Vela did not reply immediately. She stared at the holographic map of Earth, studying every detail. She realized that what she had assumed about humans was wrong. Very wrong. On Earth, John looked at the horizon, at the rising sun, at his soldiers training. He felt a sense of pride and calm. Humans were not perfect. They had flaws, mistakes, and weaknesses. But they had determination, courage, and the ability to unite when needed. If someone tried to challenge them, they would fight and they would survive. The day passed slowly. Training continued. Signals were monitored. Scientists worked to understand the patterns from deep space. Life went on, as normal as it could in the shadow of something unknown. John walked among his soldiers, offering guidance, correcting mistakes, encouraging persistence. Each small action, each word, strengthened them, made them sharper, more ready. Far away, the aliens watched and planned. Their initial assumptions about Earth were crumbling. They had expected fear, weakness, chaos. Instead, they saw order, intelligence, and calm strength. Their decisions would not be easy. The universe was vast, and they had never seen a species like this before. And on Earth, life continued. Humans trained, worked, and lived, unaware of how much they had already shocked distant watchers. John Carter, Lisa Brown, Mike Harris, Sarah Miller, and their team moved forward, steady, ready, and prepared. Humanity had not yet faced the real test, but they were ready for it, and in ways the aliens could not yet imagine. The next morning, the sky was clear and blue. Captain John Carter stood on the observation deck of the command center. Sensors had picked up unusual objects approaching Earth from the outer edges of the solar system. They were small ships, fast and precise, moving as if guided by intelligent minds. John felt a mix of curiosity and concern. He had trained for attacks before, but nothing like this. "What do we know about them?" John asked Lieutenant Mike Harris, who monitored the screens closely. "They are not like any ships we have seen before," Mike replied. "Their speed, their shape, the way they move, it's unlike anything in our databases. I think they are scouting, not attacking, at least not yet." John nodded. "Prepare the interception teams. I want pilots ready to respond immediately. Keep the engagement rules strict. No firing unless necessary. Understand their technology first, then act." Far above, the alien scouts had noticed the activity on Earth. Vela's voice came through the communication lines of their small fleet, distorted but clear. "Observe carefully. The humans are preparing. But their technology is weak. They will not last against us for long." Krath studied the data. "Their preparation is unusual. Most species panic under observation. They do not. They adapt and organize. It is fascinating and troubling." Back on Earth, Lisa Brown worked in the sensor lab. She traced the alien signals, noting patterns and movements. She realized they were sending small probes into the upper atmosphere. These probes were scanning, mapping, testing. Lisa felt a chill. She knew humans had to respond carefully. John entered the lab. "Any idea what they are looking for?" he asked. "They are measuring energy signatures, communication networks, and defense readiness," Lisa replied. "They want to know what we can do, how fast we can react." John nodded. Then we show them without making it obvious. We fight smart, not fast, coordinate with all units. If they test us, they will find us ready. The first encounter came in the late afternoon. The alien probes entered low orbit, small ships glowing faintly in the sunlight. Human fighter squads, led by pilot Sarah Miller and her co-pilot Daniel Scott, scrambled. Their ships were smaller and less powerful, but they were fast and maneuverable. "Remember," John said over the comms, "observe, adapt, and respond. Disable, do not destroy unless necessary. We are learning as we fight." The human fighters engaged the probes carefully. They approached, observed the alien movements, and launched electronic pulses to interfere with the alien systems. The probes faltered, slowed, and for the first time seemed confused. Vela watched the live feed from her command chair. "This cannot be happening," she said. "They should be terrified, they should flee. Why do they fight back so intelligently?" Krath shook his head. "They are learning. They are using their environment, their equipment, and their minds in ways we did not expect. Observe carefully. More data is needed." John Carter smiled slightly as he watched Sarah and Daniel's fighters circle the probes, guiding them into a controlled trap. Without causing destruction, the humans disabled the alien craft, forcing them to retreat from orbit. The aliens scrambled back into space, leaving the probes spinning harmlessly. "Status?" John asked Mike. "All units returned safely," Mike replied. "No casualties, the probes are neutralized, and our sensors captured everything. We now know their energy patterns, their shielding, and some of their movement logic." John nodded. "Good work. This is exactly what we needed. They have tested us and we passed. Now we know more about them than they know about us." Far away, Vela slammed her claw on the console. "This is unacceptable. These humans are too clever, too disciplined. Their tactics, their coordination, it is unusual." Krath remained calm. "Unusual does not mean weak. They are learning fast. If we underestimate them, we will regret it." Back on Earth, the team celebrated quietly. They did not cheer loudly or boast. They knew this was only the first test. Humans had survived, learned, and adapted. John gathered his officers for a briefing. "Listen carefully," he said. "They will come again, and probably with more force. Today we learned a lot. Their ships are fragile against electronic interference. They retreat when trapped. We must prepare for a larger encounter. Remember, our goal is not to destroy, but to survive and understand. Every mistake we make is a lesson for them." Over the next days, the alien scouts returned multiple times, probing human defenses in different regions. Every time, human forces adapted quickly. They set traps, coordinated fighter movements, and used electronic warfare to disable enemy systems. Each time, the aliens were surprised by human intelligence and coordination. John worked with Lisa, Mike, and Sarah to refine tactics. They analyzed alien patterns, predicted movement, and created simulated battles to prepare for larger fleets. Civilians were brought into secure shelters, communication networks were hardened, and military installations were reinforced. Humanity was ready, calm, and precise. On the alien side, Vela's frustration grew. Every encounter shows their intelligence, their strategy. Why do they not panic? Why do they adapt so fast? Krath replied. Because they are not like other species. Most would scatter, panic, or fail under pressure. Humans, they learn, they unify, they fight smart. This is why we cannot underestimate them. One evening, John stood outside, looking at the sky. The stars were quiet, distant, and beautiful. He thought about the aliens, the scouts, and the tests. Humanity had passed the first challenge, but bigger ones would come. He knew that intelligence, unity, and calm would be the key. "Captain," Lisa said, coming beside him, "they will be back, stronger, faster, more aggressive. Are we ready?" John looked at her and smiled. "We will be ready. We have learned. We will adapt. We do not fear what we do not understand. We prepare, we observe, and we act. That is how humans survive." Days later, a larger alien fleet appeared near the edge of the solar system. They were not scouting this time. They tested human responses with small strikes, probing defenses in different regions simultaneously. John's team responded quickly. Global military units communicated seamlessly. Fighter pilots executed complex maneuvers to intercept alien craft before they could strike. Sarah and Daniel led one squadron, weaving between stars, using the sun's glare and planetary shadows to hide their approach. They disabled several alien drones without destroying them. Another team used electronic pulses to disrupt enemy communication, causing confusion and hesitation. Humans were not just reacting, they were controlling the battle. The aliens were speechless. Vela stared at the feed. They are not fighting like any other species. They do not panic, they do not flee. They anticipate, they adapt, they counter. This is impossible. Krath nodded slowly. Impossible for us to understand, perhaps, but it is very real. These humans are not weak. They are dangerous in ways we did not expect. On Earth, John observed the situation calmly. He watched the alien ships retreat after multiple failed strikes. He did not celebrate. He knew this was only a test and much more would come. But humanity had proven something important. They could fight smart, adapt quickly, and survive against a more advanced enemy. They will come again, Mike said, looking at John, and they will try harder. Let them come, John replied. We will be ready. This is how humans respond, not with fear, but with action, intelligence, and unity. Today we learned, tomorrow we will be stronger. In the weeks that followed, humans studied the alien technology recovered from the disabled probes. Lisa worked with engineers and scientists to understand energy signatures, shields, and weapon systems. Every discovery gave them an advantage. Every simulation improved their tactics. Humanity was no longer passive. They were preparing to face a real threat, and they were ready to surprise their observers. Vela and Krath continued to argue on their fleet. We underestimated them, Vela said angrily. We must return with full force. We cannot allow these humans to continue learning. We must be careful, Krath warned. Every engagement shows us they are clever, disciplined, and united. Underestimating them could destroy us. They are not like any other species. On Earth, John gathered his officers again. Remember, he said, the aliens are watching, learning, and testing us. We have learned from them as well. Every encounter teaches us something. Keep training, keep observing, and always be ready. The universe does not wait, and neither do we. As night fell, Earth remained quiet. Cities glowed, stars shone, and humanity continued its work. Soldiers trained, scientists studied, and leaders planned. The first test had passed. The humans had proven their intelligence, coordination, and discipline. They had adapted faster than anyone expected, and they had survived. And somewhere in the distant stars, Vela and Krath recorded everything, shocked and speechless. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was unpredictable, intelligent, and prepared. The next challenge was coming, and humans would be ready. The alien scouts did not return immediately after their last failure. They needed time to report, analyze, and plan. Vela and Krath spent hours reviewing the battle footage and sensor data. They could not understand how humans adapted so quickly. Every move, every tactic, every counterattack was smart, coordinated, and fast. These humans are dangerous, Vela said, pacing in her command room. We must strike harder, stronger, and faster. We cannot allow them to continue learning. Krath shook his head slowly. I agree, but we must not underestimate them. Their intelligence and coordination are unlike anything we have faced before. We cannot win by brute force alone. Back on Earth, Captain John Carter reviewed the reports from the previous encounters. Each probe, each minor strike had been recorded, analyzed, and studied. John gathered his team: Lieutenant Mike Harris, pilot Sarah Miller, co-pilot Daniel Scott, and scientist Lisa Brown. They will come again, John said calmly. And they will be stronger. We need to prepare every unit, every base, every soldier. We must be ready not only to defend, but to adapt. They will not make the same mistake twice. Lisa nodded. We've learned about their technology, their energy signatures, and some of their tactics. We can predict some moves, but we cannot be certain of everything. They are clever. John smiled faintly. Then we prepare for the unexpected. We use our intelligence, our unity, and our discipline. They may have advanced technology, but we have strategy and adaptability. Never underestimate that. Weeks passed. Humanity strengthened defenses on land, in the air, and in orbit. Fighter pilots trained tirelessly, practicing maneuvers against simulated alien tactics. Engineers worked on electronic warfare systems, creating ways to disrupt alien ships without direct confrontation. Soldiers practiced coordination drills, responding to sudden attacks with precision. Then, one morning, a fleet of alien ships appeared near the edge of the solar system. These ships were larger, faster, and more numerous than before. They were no longer scouts, they were a strike force. John Carter and his officers watched the fleet on the screens. They are testing us again, Mike said. We know what to expect this time, but they are stronger. Good, John replied. Then we will show them we are ready. Human ships scrambled into formation. Pilot Sarah Miller led one squadron, weaving through the planets to hide their approach. Co-pilot Daniel Scott followed, covering blind spots. Fighter squadrons coordinated with orbital defenses, creating overlapping fields of fire and electronic disruption. The first wave of alien ships advanced toward Earth's outer defenses. They fired energy beams designed to disable human communication satellites. The beams hit their targets, but human defenses activated countermeasures. Satellites adjusted, communications rerouted, and human ships moved in perfect synchronization. The aliens were surprised. Vela watched the feed nervously. Why do they respond so fast? Why do they not panic? Krath replied calmly. Because they anticipate, they adapt, they coordinate. They are not like any species we have faced before. We must rethink our strategy. On the surface, Colonel Mike Harris led ground forces at a remote base. The alien strike was designed to test their defenses, using energy pulses and small landing craft to probe weak points. Mike's soldiers responded with precision, using automated turrets, electronic jammers, and defensive formations. The aliens' small landing craft were neutralized before they could land. "Status report," Mike said into the comms. "All targets neutralized," John replied. "No casualties, keep your units ready, anticipate the next wave." The alien fleet, realizing that direct attacks were ineffective, shifted tactics. They tried to outmaneuver human squadrons, splitting their forces into smaller groups. Human pilots anticipated this. Sarah and Daniel led a squadron to intercept, using planetary shadows and the sun's glare to hide their approach. They disabled several alien ships with precise electronic pulses, forcing the aliens to retreat again. Vela's frustration grew. How can they counter everything we do? Their technology is primitive. Their weapons are weak. Why do they not fall? Krath studied the patterns. Because they are intelligent. They plan, they adapt, they coordinate. They are not afraid. We cannot win by attacking blindly. We must be smarter than we thought. On Earth, John Carter addressed the Global Command Network. They are stronger than their scouts, but not invincible. We have learned from every encounter. Use everything we know: electronic warfare, tactical maneuvers, defensive formations. Act as one, humanity fights as one, and together we are strong. Engineers and scientists worked around the clock. Lisa Brown developed improved electronic disruption systems. Satellites were upgraded, defense grids synchronized, and human fleets trained for multiple scenarios. Every detail was examined, every possibility prepared for. Humanity's strength was no longer just in weapons. It was in intelligence, unity, and preparation. A second wave of alien ships arrived, this time larger and more coordinated. They attacked in multiple directions, trying to overwhelm human defenses. But John's strategy held. Fighter squadrons moved in precise patterns, orbital defenses targeted threats efficiently, and ground forces neutralized any landing attempts. Pilot Sarah Miller executed a daring maneuver, flying between two alien ships and deploying an electronic pulse that disabled both. Co-pilot Daniel Scott followed, using the chaos to intercept more ships. The aliens had never faced such coordinated aerial tactics. Vela's voice shook with anger. "They anticipate every move. This should not be possible." Krath responded quietly. "We underestimated them. Humans are not just strong, they are clever, fast learners and united. We cannot take them lightly." On the surface, Colonel Mike Harris observed the battlefield. Soldiers communicated seamlessly, responding instantly to new threats. Automated defenses worked perfectly with human units. Every movement was coordinated, every action calculated. The aliens tried to strike weak points, but there were none. Humans adapted faster than they could predict. John watched the situation from the command center. His team was calm, precise, and effective. Humanity was not just surviving, they were controlling the battle. Every move the aliens made, humans countered or turned to their advantage. "They will not stop," Mike said. "They will try harder, stronger attacks." "Let them come," John replied. "We are ready. Every attack teaches us. Every mistake they make is a lesson for us. Intelligence, unity, and discipline will see us through." The alien fleet, frustrated and confused, began to retreat. They had underestimated humans once again. Vela stared at the reports, her hands shaking. How can they learn so fast? How can they anticipate everything? "This is not natural," Krath nodded. "It is natural for them. Humans are survivors, learners, and fighters. They are unpredictable. Their strength is not in weapons alone, but in minds, hearts, and unity. We must recognize this. As the alien ships left orbit, John addressed his officers. They tested us again and we learned. Every encounter makes us stronger. This is how humans survive, not by avoiding danger, but by facing it, learning, and adapting. Remember this. Humanity will not fail because we prepare, observe, and act together. Lisa Brown smiled as she monitored the systems. Every encounter makes us smarter. Every attack teaches us something new. We can do this. Pilot Sarah Miller and co-pilot Daniel Scott landed their fighters safely. They were tired, but their spirits were high. They won't expect what comes next, Sarah said. We've learned, and now we are ready for anything. Colonel Mike Harris looked at his soldiers. They were disciplined, calm, and strong. They thought they could scare us. They thought we would panic. They were wrong. Humanity does not break under pressure. We adapt, we survive, we fight as one. Far away, Vela and Krath watched humanity's response in disbelief. We misjudged them, Vela said quietly. We cannot beat them with power alone. We need to understand their minds. Krath nodded. This is only the beginning. Humans will continue to surprise us. We must be cautious or we will fail. On Earth, John stood on the observation deck once more, looking at the stars. Humanity had survived another test, another attack. They had proven their intelligence, coordination, and courage. The real challenge had not yet arrived, but they were ready. We will face whatever comes, John whispered, and we will prevail, not because we are the strongest, but because we are united, prepared, and clever. The universe will learn to respect humanity. And so Earth prepared. Fleets trained, soldiers drilled, scientists studied, and leaders coordinated. Humanity had survived the first major attacks. The aliens were speechless, shocked, and beginning to fear a species they had thought weak and insignificant. The battle had taught humans more than they expected. Intelligence, unity, and adaptation were their true weapons, and somewhere in the distant stars, Vela and Krath realized that humans were not ordinary. They were a threat unlike any they had faced before. The next wave of attacks would come. The aliens would return stronger, smarter, and more determined. But so would humanity. They had learned, adapted, and grown stronger from every encounter. They were ready. And in the quiet moments between battles, John Carter, Lisa Brown, Mike Harris, Sarah Miller, and Daniel Scott trained, studied, and prepared. Humanity's greatest strength was not in weapons or ships. It was in the minds, hearts, and unity of its people. The galaxy had begun to notice, and the aliens would never underestimate Earth again. The Alien Council had made its decision. Vela and Krath commanded a full strike fleet, larger and more advanced than anything that had approached Earth before. Hundreds of ships moved in formation through the darkness of space, engines glowing faintly against the black. Their mission was clear: test humanity's defenses fully, show power, and conquer if possible. On Earth, Captain John Carter stood at the command center, monitoring the alerts. The sensors were buzzing with activity, showing a massive fleet approaching from the outer rim of the solar system. The scale of the attack was unlike anything humans had faced before. John's heart did not race. He felt calm, ready, and focused. He turned to his officers, Lieutenant Mike Harris, Pilot Sarah Miller, co-pilot Daniel Scott, and Scientist Lisa Brown. "They are coming," John said. "Not scouts, not small waves. This is the real thing. But we are ready. We have learned from every encounter. Today we fight smart, united, and without fear. Humanity does not panic. We plan, we adapt, and we win." Lisa nodded, analyzing alien energy signatures. "They are faster, stronger, and more coordinated. But we know their weaknesses. Their shields can be disrupted with synchronized pulses, and their formations can be broken with tactical maneuvers." Mike Harris adjusted his headset. "Our ground defenses are ready. Orbital weapons, communication networks, and coordination systems are fully prepared. Every soldier knows their role. Every unit can act independently if needed. They will not catch us off guard." John turned to Sarah and Daniel. "Pilots, you know the plan. Use shadows, planetary orbits, and coordinated attacks. Disable without unnecessary destruction if possible. Keep the fleet alive to learn, to adapt, and to survive." The alien fleet entered the solar system, their ships moving in perfect formation. They fired warning beams at satellites, attempting to disrupt communication. Earth's orbital defense network activated instantly, intercepting the beams, rerouting signals, and protecting satellites. Humans did not panic. They acted as one, precise and disciplined. Vela watched the human response on her bridge, eyes wide. How do they counter everything we do? They should be panicking. They should be running, scattering, failing. Why do they not? Krath studied the data carefully. Because they plan, they adapt, and they act as one. They are unlike any species we have faced. Do not underestimate them. Intelligence, coordination, and calm are their weapons. The first strike came from the outer planets. Alien ships fired energy weapons toward human defense stations. John's teams had anticipated this. Orbital weapons fired synchronized counter-pulses, deflecting attacks and disabling multiple alien ships. Fighter squadrons led by Sarah and Daniel intercepted smaller strike craft, using shadows and solar glare to hide their approach. Precision electronic pulses disrupted alien shields, forcing retreat. On the ground, Colonel Mike Harris coordinated defense units across multiple continents. Automated turrets, electronic jammers, and tactical squads neutralized alien landing attempts before they could reach populated areas. Civilians were safe, communications were intact, and humans moved calmly under pressure. Vela was furious. Every move we make, they counter. Every attack fails. This should not be possible. Krath replied. We underestimated them. Their power lies not in their ships or weapons, but in their minds and unity. They adapt faster than we can anticipate. This is why we cannot win through brute force alone. John observed the battle from the command center. Screens displayed multiple views, orbital, planetary, and surface. Each move of the aliens was countered by human strategy. Every attack taught humans more about the enemy. John's team adjusted tactics in real time, creating traps, predicting movements, and exploiting weaknesses. Prepare the secondary fleet, John ordered. Coordinate all squadrons. Focus on disruption, not destruction. We want to survive, learn, and turn their strength against them. Sarah led her squadron through a daring maneuver near the asteroid belt. Using cover and speed, they disabled several alien ships without being detected. Daniel followed, targeting communications nodes on enemy vessels. Every small success disrupted alien formations, creating confusion and hesitation. On the alien command bridge, Vela's frustration grew. Why do they fight like this? Why do they not panic? Why do they think faster than we can? Krath replied. Because they are humans. They learn, they adapt, they fight together. They are unpredictable. We cannot conquer them with force alone. They are more powerful than we imagined. On Earth, Lisa Brown monitored alien energy patterns. She identified weaknesses in their shield synchronization and relayed the information to John. He nodded and directed the fleet to exploit these weaknesses. Synchronized pulses were fired across multiple locations, causing alien shields to fail in sections. Human fighters seized the opportunity to disable critical ships, forcing parts of the fleet to retreat. They think they are strong, John said quietly, but they underestimate us. Every move we make, every plan we execute shows that humans are not just fighters, we are thinkers, learners, and survivors. Colonel Mike Harris oversaw the ground operations. Soldiers moved like clockwork, intercepting alien landing teams, disabling craft with precision, and coordinating with orbital units. No human was injured in major operations. Every casualty was prevented through planning, adaptation, and quick thinking. Vela's voice shook. They are too coordinated, too fast, too smart. How can a primitive species be like this? Krath nodded. We thought we were observing a weak species. We were wrong. Humans are dangerous not because of weapons, but because of intelligence, planning, and unity. This is why they survive. The battle escalated, with humans countering alien attacks at every turn. Fighter squadrons used planetary shadows, debris fields, and asteroid belts to hide, strike, and retreat. Electronic warfare disrupted alien formations. Orbital weapons disabled incoming projectiles. Ground forces prevented any landing or infiltration. John coordinated every move. Remember, the goal is survival, intelligence, and adaptation. Observe, learn, and act. Every attack they make is information for us. Every failure we cause is a lesson for them. Humanity is not defeated because we think, act, and fight together. Sarah and Daniel executed another daring maneuver, leading a group of alien ships into a trap near the moon. Electronic pulses disabled shields, and precision strikes forced retreat. The aliens had never faced coordinated aerial and orbital tactics of this scale. Their morale faltered, confusion spread, and communication broke down in several squadrons. Vela shouted in frustration. How can they anticipate everything? How can they adapt to every attack? This is impossible. Krath remained calm. Not impossible, this is human intelligence. This is why we cannot take them lightly. Their strength is not in numbers, weapons, or technology, but in minds, courage, and unity. If we continue to underestimate them, we will fail completely. On Earth, John smiled. Humans were not just surviving, they were controlling the battle. Every move of the aliens was countered, adapted to, or turned against them. Humanity had learned from every test, every probe, every small strike. Now, in the largest battle so far, humans had proven they were capable of controlling the fight, even against a more advanced enemy. As the alien fleet began to retreat, damaged and confused, John addressed his officers. They tested us fully and we responded. We survived, adapted, and turned their strength against them. This is how humans fight, not with fear, but with intelligence, coordination, and unity. They may return, but we are ready. Lisa monitored the remaining alien ships. They are retreating, but not defeated. We have learned more from this battle than from all previous encounters. Our tactics worked, our coordination held, and our planning was perfect. Mike Harris smiled at his soldiers. They thought they could scare us, overwhelm us, and break us. They were wrong. Humans do not break. We adapt, we survive, and we fight together. Today, humanity proved that. Sarah and Daniel landed their fighters safely. We have shown them, Sarah said. They will not underestimate us again. Humanity is smarter, faster, and stronger than they thought. Far away, Vela and Krath watched the battle recordings. Vela's voice trembled. We underestimated them. We cannot conquer them with force alone. We need a new plan or we will fail completely. Krath nodded slowly. They are unpredictable, intelligent, and united. Humans are not like any species we have faced. We must respect them or we will lose everything. On Earth, John Carter stood on the observation deck looking at the stars. The alien fleet was gone for now, but humanity had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Fleets trained, soldiers prepared, and scientists studied. Humans had faced the largest attack yet and survived. We are ready, John whispered. Not because we are the strongest, but because we are united, disciplined, and intelligent. Humanity fights as one, and that is our greatest weapon. And somewhere in the distant stars, Vela and Krath realized that humanity was no ordinary species. They were dangerous, clever, and united. They had survived the full-scale assault, adapted instantly, and turned the alien strength against them. The galaxy would never underestimate Earth again. The alien fleet had retreated beyond the outer planets, badly damaged and confused. Vela and Krath called an emergency meeting on their command ship. The reports from the battles around Earth were clear. Humans had survived, adapted, and turned every attack against them. The aliens were stunned. We cannot conquer them, Vela said, her voice shaking. They are too intelligent, too united, too adaptable. This was not supposed to happen. How can a primitive species defeat our fleet so completely? Krath replied calmly. It is not our technology they overcame, but our mistakes. Humans learn, humans adapt, humans fight together. That is their power. We must rethink everything about this species. They are not ordinary, they are dangerous. Back on Earth, Captain John Carter watched the radar and communication feeds. The alien fleet was retreating, but he knew this was not the end. Humanity had survived multiple attacks, but the aliens would regroup and return stronger. His mind was calm, focused, and sharp. He turned to his officers, Lieutenant Mike Harris, Pilot Sarah Miller, co-pilot Daniel Scott, and scientist Lisa Brown. This is the moment we have prepared for, John said. We have learned everything we can from these attacks. Now it is our turn to take control. We will not attack blindly, but we will show the galaxy the strength of humanity. Lisa nodded. We have their energy signatures, shield patterns, and formation logic. We can predict their movements with high accuracy. We can prepare ambushes and countermeasures. Mike Harris added, our ground forces, orbital defenses, and fighter squadrons are fully coordinated. Every soldier, pilot, and technician knows their role. We are ready. Sarah looked at John, determination in her eyes. They will not expect what comes next. We have learned, and now we act with precision. Daniel added, our pilots are ready, our ships are ready, and our weapons are ready. We can control the battle, not just react to it. John smiled. Then let us remind them why humans survive. Our strength is not in our weapons alone, but in our minds, our courage, and our unity. The next day, the alien fleet returned, larger and more organized than ever. They believed their retreat had given them time to prepare a decisive strike. Hundreds of ships advanced toward Earth, energy weapons glowing, shields active, and formations tight. They intended to overwhelm humanity once and for all. John Carter calmly observed the approaching fleet. "They believe strength alone will win," he said, "but we have learned. We are smarter, faster, and more coordinated than they can imagine." Human ships scrambled into position. Fighter squadrons moved into hidden orbits, orbital weapons aligned with planetary shadows, and ground forces prepared for any landing attempt. Every human unit from pilots to technicians knew their role. Humanity fought as one. The first wave of alien attacks began. Energy beams struck orbital defenses, attempting to disable satellites and communication relays. Human countermeasures activated instantly, reflecting beams, deploying electronic pulses, and maintaining all critical functions. Fighter squadrons led by Sarah and Daniel intercepted smaller strike crafts, disabling them without unnecessary destruction. On the alien command bridge, Vela's eyes widened. How do they counter everything again? This should not be possible," Krath replied, "because humans are not just fighters. They are thinkers, learners, and planners. They anticipate, adapt, and act together." "We cannot win by strength alone," John issued orders calmly. "Divide the alien fleet into sections, use their own movements against them, focus on disabling key ships, then force retreats. Observe, adapt, and control. Humanity fights as one." Sarah led a daring maneuver near the asteroid belt. Fighter squadrons hid among the rocks, using shadows and debris to strike at key alien vessels. Daniel followed, deploying synchronized electronic pulses that disrupted shields and communication links. Several alien ships were forced to retreat or became disabled entirely. On the surface, Colonel Mike Harris coordinated ground units. Automated turrets, electronic jammers, and tactical squads neutralized alien landing attempts. No civilian zones were affected. Humans moved calmly, precisely, and efficiently. The aliens had expected fear, chaos, and mistakes. Instead, they faced discipline, intelligence, and unity. Vela slammed her claw on the console. "They adapt to every attack, anticipate every move. How is this possible?" "They should be weak, they should fail," Krath replied quietly. "They are humans. Their strength is not in ships, weapons, or numbers. It is in minds, hearts, and unity. That is why they survive. That is why they fight back against overwhelming odds." Human squadrons executed coordinated attacks. One group feigned retreat, luring alien ships into a trap. Orbital weapons fired synchronized pulses that disabled shields, while fighter squadrons moved in to disable engines and weapons. Alien formations broke apart, confusion spread, and retreat orders were given. John observed carefully. "Every move we make teaches us, and every mistake they make teaches us. This is how humans win, not by luck, but by planning, adaptation, and unity." Sarah and Daniel performed another daring maneuver, flying between two alien ships, deploying electronic pulses that disabled both. Other squadrons exploited the confusion to intercept additional enemy craft. The aliens had never faced such precise, coordinated, and intelligent tactics. Vela shouted in frustration. "They are too smart, they are too fast, they adapt to everything, we cannot win," Krath nodded. "They are dangerous because they learn and fight as one." "This is not weakness, this is power. Humans are not to be underestimated." On Earth, John coordinated the final phase of the battle. Every human unit knew their role perfectly. Orbital defenses, fighter squadrons, and ground forces acted in harmony. Alien attacks were repelled, alien ships were disabled, and alien retreat became chaotic. The humans were in control, not reacting, but shaping the battle. Colonel Mike Harris addressed his troops calmly. "Today, humanity proves its strength. They thought they could overwhelm us with force. They were wrong. We fight together, we adapt, and we survive. Humanity will not be defeated." Sarah and Daniel returned safely to base. "Every move they make fails," Sarah said. "They underestimate humans, now they will remember." Lisa Brown monitored alien communication signals. She noted confusion, panic, and retreat orders spreading across the alien fleet. "They are speechless," she said. "They cannot understand how humans fight. We have turned their own strength against them." John smiled. "We have done more than survive. We have proven humanity's power. Intelligence, unity, and courage are stronger than fear or technology. This is how humans dominate, not by weapons alone, but by minds, hearts, and discipline." Far away, Vela and Krath watched the retreating fleet. Vela's voice trembled. "We underestimated them. We cannot conquer humans with force. They are clever, united, and unstoppable when they fight together." Krath replied, "We must respect them. Humanity is not ordinary. They survive, adapt, and dominate through intelligence, planning, and unity. We cannot fight them like other species. They are different. They are remarkable." On Earth, John stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. Humanity had survived the full-scale assault. Fleets were intact, ground forces were ready, and every civilian was safe. Humans had learned, adapted, and grown stronger with each encounter. "They will never forget us," John whispered. "Not because we have the strongest weapons, but because we have the strongest minds, the strongest hearts, and the strongest unity. Humanity fights as one, and that is our power." The alien fleet continued to retreat, damaged and speechless. Reports of humanity's strength, intelligence, and unity spread across the galaxy. Other alien civilizations began to take notice, realizing that Earth was not a weak planet, but a species capable of remarkable strategy, courage, and coordination. Humanity did not celebrate with arrogance. They trained, prepared, and studied. Fleets repaired, soldiers trained, and scientists analyzed every encounter. Humans were ready for whatever came next. They had survived the greatest attack the galaxy had thrown at them, and they had won through intelligence, unity, and courage. John Carter looked at his team: Lisa Brown, Mike Harris, Sarah Miller, and Daniel Scott. "We have done more than survive," he said. "We have shown the galaxy that humanity cannot be underestimated. They will think twice before testing Earth again." Lisa smiled. "We fought smart, acted together, and adapted to everything they threw at us. Humanity is ready for anything." Mike Harris nodded. "We have proven ourselves. Today, humans are stronger than any threat in the galaxy." Sarah and Daniel exchanged a glance. "We survived," Daniel said simply, "and we grew stronger." John gazed at the stars one last time that night. The aliens had been defeated, not by rage, not by weapons, but by strategy, intelligence, and unity. Humanity had won, and the galaxy had seen that humans were not to be underestimated. Somewhere far away, Vela and Krath recorded everything. "They are remarkable," Krath said. "They are not like any species we have faced. Humans are clever, united, and unstoppable when they fight as one. The galaxy will learn to respect them." John whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning. Humanity will survive, adapt, and thrive. We do not wait for danger. We prepare, we act, and we conquer through intelligence and unity. The galaxy will remember Earth not for its size, but for the strength of its people." And so, Earth remained quiet, calm, and strong. Humans continued their lives, trained their forces, and prepared for the future. The aliens had been defeated, and the galaxy had witnessed the power of a united species that thought, adapted, and fought together. Humanity had proven, once and for all, that no force in the galaxy could break its spirit. The stars shone bright above, and humans looked up with courage in their hearts, ready for whatever came next. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Never underestimate the strength, intelligence, and unity of humanity.